We are live, technically. It says it's going
Now,
live still. There we go.
Technically.
and now we
We're
are
less
going to
dead.
put now we are going to put announcements out
What announcements?
that we are live.
Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
Live.
Go for it.
I know nothing.
Make Josh do it.
We're live. Coming to you live.
Hold on. I'll
Right
go
now,
to
we're
YouTube. I'll
just in
get
a
the
circle
link.
jerk. I'm trying to get people involved.
Hey, this isn't that kind of show, Moss. Hold on. I'll
Right
go
now,
to
we're
YouTube. I'll
just in
get
a
the
circle
link.
jerk. I'm
I
trying
see
to
four
get.
jerks in sort of a circle.
It means
Well,
something
I
else
worked.
entirely, Moss.
seems
Much
This
like
is only.
backhanded.
heathen.
I worked from home for a long time, and this is only tangentially related, by the way, in case you're wondering.
To a
But
circle jerk
when you're on the camera, you only have to be
on camera.
presentable from basically here up.
Yeah,
So I would wear a nice shirt and then like boxers.
Yeah, that's what everybody
Pants
did.
not required.
That's what everybody did.
yeah. People in their PJs or nothing at all. Yeah, just covering the fancy bits.
That's right. So you have no idea what's happening below the frame.
Mm. I make sure that when I stand up, you have no idea what's happening below the frame.
Well,
Jeez.
last night we got up and close and personal with Joe's beard for about 10 minutes.
Oh,
Oh, really?
He
Yeah,
was leaning in doing something, and he just like this was what we saw for a solid
Oh.
like
Tell what
Joe.
he had for dinner last night, huh?
Hey, what are you doing?
Well, I hadn't originally planned on using two computers to talk on the Linux Lugcast, but then my little mini computer doesn't have the world's greatest battery, as you know. Eric will tell you. Eric and portable devices um,
mm.
on Linux just don't do well battery wise. So I had to plug in, and the plug is way over there because I use it for my work computer. So then I remembered I got this fancy charger over here specifically so I wouldn't have to do that. And I was able to sit back again.
Oh, Joe, I have a question for you. So
I probably
this,
have an answer. Might not be a good
I know
one.
you. No, I know you will. That's why I'm asking. So this device, the Latitude, has a USB-C charger, right? And it's a
Yes.
45 watt. If I were to accidentally plug that 45-watt charger into, let's say, my
They're smart.
Pixel,
They're
would it kill
smart.
it?
No.
No? Okay.
Those chargers, the 45-watt chargers, because they're USB-C and not the micro, you have to be careful with the micro ones
Hmm.
sometimes. But usually, they have it built into them. They will know to drop the charging voltage down, especially with USB-C, because all of your devices, even that particular latitude, will drop down to 5 volts when it's mostly charged. So that's enough to keep it running.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, luckily it has an LED in the plug itself, so it's kind of hard to mistake for something else, but I just thought,
Yeah, I use
groping around and like picking it up and just like jamming it in the phone and be like, "Oh no."
yeah, the Dell charger that I use in the living room is the exact same way. It's made for, my work laptop. Um,
Keep it clean, Eric. No jamming things in phones.
but
You're no
it's
fun,
it's
Moss.
I think it will go up to like 65 watt.
That's what she said.
But I charge my phones from it all the time, but I also have, extreme fast charging phones. The Note 10 Plus will do the super fast charging, so and it will
Yeah, and I was wondering,
scale back down to the 5 volts once it's full.
I know fast charging has different standards and stuff, and I was actually wondering if I plugged my phone into, even though this is 45 watts, would it be able to negotiate that higher
Yes.
charging speed? Okay.
Well, if your phone is built for it, then yes. If not, it'll just
Yeah, I
stay
don't
at
know if
5
it.
volts.
If the
Gotcha.
battery explodes,
Then you
it wasn't
shouldn't have
regulated.
purchased that Samsung Galaxy, what was it? No, Note 7.
Me?
No, if your battery explodes, that means you probably had the
right,
Note
right.
7.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, you're right. I forgot about that.
Mm.
Hey, that just made life interesting.
The
Okay.
possibility of your pocket going boom.
I mean, come on. Live dangerously. What do you got to lose?
I
If it's in your pocket, you're
like.
living
Own your
really
Look,
house.
dangerous.
I
Yeah.
like everything near my pockets, so
Have you ever
Oh,
watched any of those catastrophic battery failure videos on YouTube? It
um,
is frightening.
yeah, I've seen some of them. I haven't gone out of my way to see them.
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty horrifying.
Mm.
A lot of them are the actually the vaping equipment, the box mods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
The
you get
shitty ones
those.
from China.
Yeah, you get those cheap China mods, and they end up
Yeah,
shorted out because the connector goes in a little bit sideways, and you're directly shorted from power to ground, and you get a runaway thermal, and boom.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Pretty impressive.
that's
The
not
amount of
gonna
energy
happen. That's not gonna happen in this one.
with the batteries. Yeah, gotcha.
so anyhow, here we are, mumbling
Yes,
at each other,
here we are. So
There's
we
a
mumbling.
record next week, and I'm actually not going to be available. So
there's a shadow of a cat behind you. That cat really wants
yeah,
to sit on
Yes.
your head.
he figured out he can get behind the sheer curtain if he goes this direction behind me. And yeah, it's funny because he'll do it here, and then he does it in the slider as well, and you just see the silhouette of the cat.
So I am also going to be missing the next show.
Jesus Christ. It's gonna be what, me and Bill and Majid. Eh,
I will miss the
so I
next
guess
show. I will be at the show after that, which is Christmas Eve if we have one.
no.
And then the show after that, I should be in Atlanta, but if my wife is not recovered sufficiently from her surgery, I may not be. So I
She's having the
usually
surgery in Atlanta.
no. I should be in Atlanta because I have an annual convention I go to
Oh,
there.
okay.
But if she has not recovered from her surgery, it'll be difficult for us to go to Atlanta. And I do not. I choose to not go by myself.
So, yeah,
You
it was.
choose not to leave your recovering wife at home alone.
Right.
That's a different statement entirely.
It is. However, I was thinking, yes, I prefer if I'm going to be Atlanta, I will be with my wife, you know. And if that is not possible, then I will not be in Atlanta. Even though that is the GAFILC, which is the convention we're discussing, first weekend. Actually, it's the weekend before Martin Luther King weekend every year, and I get confused. I always think it's the first weekend of January, and sometimes it isn't. Um, but I go every year. Um, I missed 2 years because of COVID because they didn't have a convention during COVID. I missed the first year I moved to Knoxville because I had some idea I'd go to a convention in Chattanooga, which turned out to be a bust and was 1 week before GAFILC, and I do not have the money to go to two conventions in 2 weeks. I usually do not have the money to go to one convention, and I fake it. But yeah, the usually as seldom as I pick up my guitars or sing, because I don't have anyone to sing to, and I am not good at practicing by myself. Um, Going to GAFILC or not going to GAFILC has a significant impact on my year. It's a nice small convention. We get between 80 and maybe 110, 115 people. And most of us know each other, and therefore the new ones can be that much more easily welcomed. And it does not feel too large for me. And plus, the fact if it did feel too large, I know almost everyone. Um, Most of the other Phil conventions are much larger. And
Hey, Moss, how are you liking that T580, by the way? I was looking at one of those on eBay.
The 580 is real nice. I lucked out. I got one. I bought it with no. I always look for no OS. I don't always buy the ones with no OS. But this one did not say anything about it having a touch screen. I don't think the guy knew it did.
That's from the T590, right? The touchscreen.
I don't know. My wife's T590 does not have a touch screen.
Oh, I thought that was interesting.
I think it's an option on most, but no, my T580 has a touch screen, and the guy selling it to me didn't say anything about that, so he might not have known. It might have been a screen replacement.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, I'm still on an X220, so it's getting pretty long in the tooth.
Well, if you need bigger real estate for your eyes and you need bigger real estate for your hands, a T580 or a 590 is an excellent choice.
Okay, good to know.
Now, if you need any bigger than that, the 17-inch models are not cheap.
No, that's the problem. I was looking at 17-inch laptops, and they're all just way out of my range. I don't use them enough to justify that kind of cost.
The only 17-inch I got is one I got for next to nothing from one of our listeners, which is the Kudu 3 System 76. Suzanne is still using that, even though I got her the T590. She just hasn't made the switch over.
My gaming laptop, my MSI, it's what, 8th gen i7. I picked that up for 600 4-5 years ago now. It's 17
That's
inch.
not bad for a gaming laptop.
Well, it had a bad hard drive, but that's nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let me tell you, my 580 versus my wife's 590. My 580 has an i5. My wife's has an i7. I've got the touch screen. We had the same amount of RAM, 16 gigs. Whether there's a hard drive in it or not, we've got drives. It's easy to get drives. And I think it was $150 less for my machine than my wife's.
The 580s are pretty reasonable.
Yeah. If you get a 580, get the i5, not the i7.
Absolutely. I made the mistake on my 220 of getting the i7, and all it did is make it run hotter.
Yeah, well, the i7, I don't know about heat, but the i7 costs significantly more, and I went online to check the two processors against each other, and the i5 actually basically runs faster than the i7.
Because of overheating, most likely.
Yeah, probably. Throttling back. Yeah.
But for that year, for the 2018 models, the i5 is a better deal than the i7 all around.
No, but if you're looking for a 17-inch laptop, definitely check out the MSI gaming systems, because even their new ones are relatively low priced. But if you can get a used one, usually you can get that 17-inch laptop at a bargain.
That's the way I'd go. I just don't use them enough to buy a new one.
And I know
580 just barely fits in my laptop, in my backpack, and so that's good.
Yeah, but
I do have a case for it if I wanted to use it, but it fits in my backpack, so why?
Much like with the Alienwares and things like that, an MSI gaming laptop is, well, they do make the ultra slim ones now, but they're not really, excessively portable machines despite being laptops, and they're definitely not made for sitting on your lap for long periods of time. They're basically desktop replacements.
The other thing is the Alienwares, you have to check the year because they are now just Dell. They're still selling them as Alienwares, but they have the same innards as any Dell.
Except for the graphics card and the cooling.
Yeah, most of those are NVIDIA graphics, right?
Yeah.
I know Eric's got that XPS, right? That's got the dual graphics in it.
I'm not sure.
My T540p has dual graphics in it, but I never play games, so I don't even know if I've ever had the NVIDIA switched on.
You should. It helps.
Helps what?
Well, save battery, 1. 2, it does help it look a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the 540p is a piece of crap. They use the cheapest plastic they could find, and if you look at it funny, it breaks.
Uh,
When I got it, it arrived in the mail broken, and
hey, Eric.
we
Good to see
we
you.
ordered a new back for it. Um, and then Dale came to visit and work on it, and trying to get the keyboard up, he broke the keyboard, and so he literally bought me a new keyboard and had it next day delivered so he could still get it installed while he was on his vacation.
That was nice of him.
But and it's
Yeah.
broken again. The exterior shell is crap.
A lot of your laptops are designed to fall apart if you try and service them. It's really kind of
Well,
pathetic.
it's also big and heavy, whereas the T580 and 590 are ultrabooks.
Right.
So yeah, the
Yeah.
540p might be faster than my 580. I don't know. It definitely has more stuff in it, and it's built up not to be saving energy in any way. I think I go through battery in 2.5 hours on that one. On the
Oof.
580, I can usually squeeze at least 6 hours. It has
Really?
two batteries in it too.
Yeah, I don't even
Man, I got
unplug.
three.
I don't even
Unit
unplug
bed.
my MSI. I mean, seriously, it is not
Well,
worth it. But I
I am
have.
told that the best way to save your battery is to use it. And I take my 580 to school with me on school days, and I managed to get a whole school day's worth of stuff out of it, unless I did something like the last time I went to school with it, I found out I had put Mochaccino OS on it, whereas it was supposed to go on my T540p, and so I had to reinstall Mint and Bodhi, and that
Mm.
took a lot of battery.
Well, like
I
with my MSI, it's got a 17-inch screen, which eats a lot of battery. And then it's got 3 hard drives, two of them spinning disk, one of them M.2 solid state.
Mhm.
It's really not going to have a long battery life. Yeah, my battery will charge up to like 96%, but if I disconnect it, I think maybe get an hour, as long as I'm not gaming.
Ouch.
Well, my battery health on my two batteries are 82 and 86%. So the fact that I'm getting almost 7.5 hours, if I use it judiciously, um,
God,
it's,
Moff.
it's a
I
good
get like
machine.
3 hours, and look at that. I put the extended battery in it even, and yeah,
Yeah.
if I get 3 or 4 hours out of this thing, I'm lucky. And it's got a horrible screen. God, the viewing angles are just awful. But it's so old, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, a T580 will fix that, and what? It's only uh, 8 years old now, seven.
something like that. Yeah, I think they were
2018. No,
2017.
it's only
Yeah,
five
five,
years.
6 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Computer, what year did the MSI GE72 come out?
Good afternoon, Joe. The MSI GE72 is a model based on a vintage monophonic synthesizer introduced in 1970.
No, it's not.
That's pretty old.
GE72 6QD, I believe is the right one.
I mean, I would rather have the T590 than the T580, but the price difference is still significant.
Yeah, it's
Also,
over 100 times more.
you will find
2016.
them cheaper if you look for no OS. If you search for, yeah, Lenovo T580 no OS.
Right.
They may or may not come with a drive. You have to be careful because some of them have a drive caddy, and if you
Oh
don't
yeah.
get the caddy, then your disk is
Yeah.
just flopping
SOL.
around in there.
Well, that's what a 3D printer's for.
Yeah.
That's what that money pit is for.
Yeah.
Well, we got all our holiday cards signed and sealed and stamped. I usually put a letter in it, and I just didn't feel up to it this year. I usually have an update of what we did over the past year, and I just couldn't. So y'all are just getting a card. Josh, you don't get nothing.
Wow. That's
Josh,
what they left out. I'm
when you
telling you,
coming
man.
back on the show, man?
Oh, dude, I've had so many health problems. I've been at the doctor more than I've been at home. So
So's Eric.
yeah,
Eric's here.
I know.
Eric's been in the hospital half the time.
Oh man, I don't know how
Exaggerating.
you do it. Yeah.
He just broadcasts from his hospital bed.
No, not quite.
Yeah.
What flavor monoclonal antibodies are they giving you this week? Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it does kind of eliminate the need for food. You just wake up and take a handful of pills. You're not so hungry afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, sadly, I'm sure this is a lot less funny to Eric than it is to us.
Just the reality I live in. I like to take that multiverse approach where, you know, I happen to be this way in this one, but in another one I'm like, you know, king of the universe. So
There you go.
it all evens out.
Right.
Yeah, well, the other multiverse, you can't loan you any money.
It's all good. If I'm not actively having some kind of episode,
I'm sure they'd probably arrest you for counterfeiting if they did. There'd be enough differences in the currency.
well, it would have my face on it, obviously, if I was king of the universe.
Yeah, of course.
I mean,
Hey, it worked for Emperor Norton. Why not?
Yeah.
There was one point during the Great Depression where Emperor Norton's money was worth more than the U.S.'s money.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's worth much right now. Went to the grocery store yesterday and walked out with 2 bags for $65.
Ugh,
Wow.
I hate going grocery
Ridiculous.
shopping right now.
Ah, Lord.
It's gotten a little better this year versus the year before. But
Well,
it's,
we are ultra poor, so we do get food stamps. And yeah, my mother's uh,
inheritance.
whatever I'm yeah, the inheritance from my mother is not counted as income because the taxes are paid in California before it gets to me.
Mhm.
So I still get all my benefits as though I were really, really poor. But it really helps, and I also I'm on Humana Gold Medicare Extra, and they give me 175 a month for food and or health stuff. I can even buy cat litter on that.
Yeah,
It's going to 195 next year.
that's good. You'll need it. I'll tell you, man.
So we are getting sufficient quantities of help. I just don't know why we're still not really climbing out of this hole.
Seems like
We
the more you get, the more everything seems to cost.
Well, there's also the fact that this knee surgery is not going to be free. Uh, my wife's health insurance is not very good, and they'll only pay 70%.
I'd take that right now. Mine's worse than that.
Well, she's on Ambetter, and I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
She got it through the ACA, whatever they call it. Last year, she was on something that was really bad, and so she switched to Ambetter this year. And Ambetter is going to go up, like she's been paying $8 a month, and she'll be paying $108 a month next year if she keeps it.
That's
And
quite a jump.
We're looking at Blue Cross Blue Shield has a plan through the ACA, and the weird thing is that that particular plan is not accepted by hospitals in this area. All the other BCBS plans are taken.
yeah, you got to be really careful with that. My plan's pretty good, but I've been running into recently a lot of places don't want to take HMOs, and I guess it's just the way that they handle payments or something like that, pre-authorizations maybe. I mean, fortunately, all of my major hospitalization and treatments and all that are covered, but you know, it's annoying when I'm trying to find a podiatrist and I like, you call 5 of them and they're all like, nope, sorry, we don't take the HMO. It's like, well, okay, well, what the hell am I supposed to do then? You know, and I
Well-
contacted the guy at Florida Blue and he's like, well, they're actually supposed to take it. They'll just tell you that they don't take it, so you have to persevere and get through to one of the like office managers. I'm like, what?
Oh, thanks.
This
Yeah.
isn't my job, dude.
That's
What the
not
hell are
your
you talking
job, yeah.
about?
And what happens if you go out of network and you don't know it, thinking they are going to
Well-
take
Well,
it and
that's
they
the
don't?
so that's
When I
the
went-
other part is their website lists. You're supposed to be able to go in and search for a provider and get a list of people that supposedly take this specific plan. And you call them and they're like, well, no, we keep telling them to take us off the list, and they refuse to take us off the list because I guess it makes them look bad if they don't have enough providers listed. I don't know.
Well, I know
It's
when
annoying.
I lived in
Ridiculous.
Denver, the HMO was Kaiser Permanente, and that was okay because they owned their own hospitals too.
Yeah, that may be my all-time favorite health system name, by the way. It's pretty fantastic. Sounds like a spy novel or something.
And I
Well,
go to
it-
Sutter Gould. Ooh.
Ah,
Not the
Well,
best.
I've got Humana Gold Extra, which is uh, my Medicare money goes to Humana, and they say that there are definite advantages to keeping your Medicare on Medicare, but they are not costs. The advantages do not include costs, because if you only have Medicare, you're paying a Medicare premium. If you have the Humana Gold, you're not. It's all taken care of. I've got TennCare too, but that's the same thing. It just takes care of my Medicare premium and gives me some more options. But every time enrollment period comes around, I'm getting all these letters from all these healthcare systems, and yeah, Humana Gold is rated 5-star. All the others are 2-star, 3-star, and I don't care how good they say they are. If they were that good, they wouldn't have that rating. And I saw one from Farm Bureau where they said I would get a $150 quarterly allowance for healthcare items.
No. Oh, Joe went cat
Now-
ears on us.
Now, would you rather have a $150 quarterly allowance for healthcare items, or $175 next year, $195 a month for food and healthcare items? Heck, I can even use it to pay utility bills, except there's so much that it takes a whole allowance anyhow.
And that's the truth. I've got a little tiny home. I mean, it's like 1,100 square feet. And last year I was paying, or excuse me, yeah, it was last year. During the winter, I think I was paying like $300-400 a month PG&E bills alone.
Well, that's PG&E.
Oh yeah, they
Ain't
get
nothing
you.
can do
Dude,
about that.
in the summers here, because I have a large house, I think it's like 2,800 square feet.
Ooh, that's a
Um,
big one.
yeah, or somewhere in there, like 2,600, something like that. But $400 a month for electric.
Yeah.
Ooh, wee.
yeah.
Well,
That's we're in the we're in the high threes for summertime here. But granted, we have old windows, and I think if we had better windows, it would probably make a big difference. But it's also like tens of thousands of dollars to replace all the windows and sliders because they
Yeah.
have to be hurricane rated, and
I've looked into that, but I think what I'm going to do next year is because I know like for the winter they make seals that you can put around your windows that yes it prevents you from opening them, but it also seals in your heat. I want to do the
Yeah.
same thing in with like maybe heavy blackout curtains in the
what
summer.
you do? It seems like it's kind of really janky, but and they sell kits for it, but you don't. I mean, you could just get plastic, but if you do clear plastic and then tape it and just keep the air exchange, and there's enough of a buffer of like air between the glass and the plastic, like that actually makes a huge difference, not only in just how it feels in the room, but then in your power as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
like you said,
I mean,
you can't really see out of the window. You can't use it.
oh, that's
Well,
fine
I
in the hot part of the summer when it's 103 degrees outside. I don't want to see outside. No, I don't want to
Yeah.
go out. I don't remember. I don't want to remember that there is an outside at that point. But
well,
There's a
there's a
there's
couple of weeks. There's a couple of weeks in the summer and the fall where we absolutely love just opening up the windows and letting the outside air in, and
Yeah.
there's practically zero electric cost because it's staying in that 70, 80 degree range,
Yep.
that's perfect for us, and just let it ride. But when, like this last year, we had like the longest amount of time with it in the triple digits, like 90 days in a row of at least being 100 degrees, and some days where it was like 116 degrees, and that's why my electric bill was so freaking high. And for that time frame, I don't need open windows. I will seal that crap up. And if I save $100 a month, that's still like $300-400 total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
we
ours
are
is opposite.
we are in an ancient trailer, very ancient. I mean, the windows are flopping around in the. They literally. We got one window that literally leaks because we can't shut it. We've put tape on it and everything, but the landlord won't put screens up. He said 6 years ago he ordered new windows for us, and I don't think they take that long.
Oh man, and my house is from '43. I've still got wood windows.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've
Yeah.
got the
those
cheap,
old
thin
sashes.
trailer aluminum windows. We've got about 980 square feet. It's a big enough house for us, but Josh seems to think 1,100 square feet is tiny. Uh,
Well, when you had well, I did have 5 people in here at one time.
yeah,
It's a tight squeeze.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, um, we, I like the trailer. It'd be a lot nicer if the landlord would do any upkeep on it. But it looks like it already fell apart, and he put it back together on the inside, and then didn't, and left it alone since. There, there's things he knows about that he hasn't done anything about. When the tiles break, we've been putting our own tiles back down.
Duct
And
tape, Moss. It fixes anything.
no, it doesn't. It's
I
really
feel
a
like I
mess
just
to walk on duct tape. Let me tell you.
I feel like I just had this conversation about renting, and like we had a place that we were pretty young though, so like we were probably late 20s, and it was just run down. It was a cute little bungalow house in a really great town on a wonderful street, but it just like the floors were all ripped, like they were hardwood, and there were sections that were all rough, and you had to be careful not to get like splinters and stuff. And the basement was absolutely just disgusting. The old furniture that was moldy and I mean, so we took the time to actually like clean it up, and we got it was a pretty decent rate on the rent, and the guy was cool. Like if there was a like we moved in and the sink in the bathroom, I'm not kidding you, must have been 3 feet off the floor. It was ridiculous. It was like, who lived here? You know, it was so low to the ground, and
Oompa Loompas.
I'm tall. I'm 6'4", so I'd be like bent in half trying to wash my
Oh.
face and brush my teeth.
Yeah.
Uh, and so he did end up replacing that, and like certain things, like it was an old clawfoot tub with a shower curtain on the inside, and like that's that was the shower, the converted with the metal pipe, and the it was all just very old, and some of the windows opened, some of them didn't. I ended up putting in a window unit air conditioner in the one room that was my office, and the rest of the house was just whatever temperature the world happened to be. And
Yeah, we've
But-
got a
but
heat pump, but the heat pump is badly underrated for the size of this house. So we just happy that when it's blowing cold air or warm air, depending on the season.
yeah, well, I'd wake up at like 4 in the morning in the wintertime, and if it felt really cold, I would know that the pilot light actually went out. So I'd have to get up, go downstairs, and it wasn't like a modern furnace where you just hit a button. Like I had to get a long match and like kind of get in there and do the whole, hold it down to
Crazy.
heat the,
We have
Yeah.
noticed rather strangely our heat pump it costs about 2/3 as much to cool the place in the summer as it does to heat it in the winter. And we're in Tennessee. Winters are not that bad here.
Well, there are different categories and classes of heat pumps. There's different stages, and there's also ones that will work better in colder climates, but not do as well cooling in the summer, or vice versa. They do like our uh, air conditioning unit is a heat pump, but excuse me, and well, I guess technically it's an air conditioner first, and then you can, when it reverses, it's a heat pump. But it's built. The efficiency is around cooling, So in the winter, if it's really only ever cold enough here for a furnace, like maybe a couple weeks of the year. Um, so, but you turn it on, and if it's in like the 40s or 50s, like it struggles mightily to keep up. It has a electric sort of strip, like I forget what they call it, but it's almost like a big hair dryer in a way. It's just electric coils, and it's in the blower unit itself. And so whenever the heat pump can't produce enough heat, it actually turns that on and blows that heat through. But that thing also uses a ton of electricity to do that. Um, and so yeah, the cooling is way worse though. In the summer, we're in the high threes, mid threes for electricity on any given month, and last month it was like 170. And I was just like, damn, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
They
Can I
offer this
change the
thing
topic
where,
a little bit?
yeah, go ahead.
I ran across on Mastodon this morning that there's a big uh, toss-up brewing in the F-Droid community. That apparently some guy named Hans thinks he owns F-Droid and has been making all the decisions unilaterally, even though they have a community council to do those things. But the community council feels he has overridden them so many times that they just all resigned.
Wow. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about F-Droid in terms of its usefulness. I mean, it's nice that it offers you an alternative and that you can find, like, there are definitely a handful of really good apps in there, but there are also like a enormous amount of just garbage apps.
Oh yeah.
And F-Droid itself doesn't bother sorting any of it for you.
No.
No, that's the problem with it is discoverability. You can't go in there and find anything. I mean, you got to
There,
sit.
there is a system called G-Droid, which basically does F-Droid, but it lets you organize it.
Oh, okay. So
I found
if I know what I want, then I can go in there, or if I know that a certain thing, even if it's on the Play Store, is also available in F-Droid, then sometimes I'll do that. But ultimately, then F-Droid handles updates not very well, in my opinion. So I mean, at least it'll say, "Oh, you have an update," and I press the thing and nothing happens. I'm like, okay. And I go into it, and then I have to refresh.
But still,
Um,
I think it's really bad that we have this kind of upheaval in something around open source community.
it's not unprecedented. That whole, like, where there's one person who owns the domain or owns the trademark to something, or whatever the case is, and they want to take their ball and go home, or yeah. I
I
mean, I've
don't
seen it.
even know if this Hans really does own it, but apparently he thinks he does. I
Well, I
have
mean, he must
not
have
seen a
some
last name or anything, just Hans.
if the board doesn't just say, whatever, loony, if they don't have the power to just ignore him, then he must have some kind of claim.
I
Similar
guess.
to like what happened to Elementary OS. Didn't they have some kind of fallout like that too?
Yeah, kind of, but it was really
Well,
much more
it was
amicable
more
than that.
personal. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
More
it was the
personal
two of
than
the two co-founders had more of a falling out, but they didn't let it bleed over into the project. I mean,
Danny handled it pretty well, and the other guy was pretty good at keeping it down key.
yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
good.
I don't know if it was more about you know, Danny's personal life.
My understanding was that it was mostly about Danny's transition.
Yeah, yeah, because Daniel went to, or yeah, Daniel went to Danielle,
Yeah.
and um, so we're talking about that last night, actually.
Hmm.
What an interesting vlogcast that was last night, man. We hit on some really weird topics.
Well, I
It was
said
fun.
before there was a time in my life that if it was possible to transition, I would have definitely given it strong consideration. But by now, it's way too late.
What are you
I
talking
don't.
about, Moss?
Huh? You know what I'm
Moss,
talking about.
the amount
Hey.
of hair removal you would have had to go through.
Well, if they caught me early enough, it might not have been so bad. But now
Uh,
I tell you, now I not only have so much hair, it's growing longer and longer. The doctors have been trying to control my blood pressure, and they found that the only thing that will consistently control my blood pressure is minoxidil. And so I am
gosh.
literally taking Rogaine to control my blood pressure.
Awesome.
That's great. Yep.
You're
I
looking
find
like
it
one of
just
those.
migrates, right?
I always refer to it as my
Yeah, no
midichlorians.
kidding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the irony of male baldness, where it's like the where you want hair? Nope, sorry, you can't have it there. Everywhere you don't want hair, sure, you can grow it out of your ears.
I'm pretty
Why
sure I
not?
could make like dreadlocks out of my ears now.
Well,
Oh, it's so
Joe
obnoxious.
showed us that fuzzy T-shirt a few weeks ago. I'm going, that's less fuzzy than I am, so why would I want the T-shirt?
You just removed the T-shirt, right, Moss?
Oh my goodness! I used to make fun of my stepdad is 100 is Italian, very much so, and like it's like he's wearing a sweater, and
Yeah.
I used to make fun of him
Well,
all the time. Like,
I
hey,
have
why don't
that
you?
amount of hair, but it's a lot softer. It's a
Yeah,
lot finer hair. I'm glad of that. My dad's had a lot coarser hair than it was like wires growing out of his body all over. And with me, it's just fur.
yeah. Dad, it's hot. Why don't you take that sweater off?
Not hair.
Sure,
Just
son,
well
hand me my
insulated.
razor.
I think that would probably make it worse. I have to imagine that, like, if you were to go down that route, the maintenance would be awful, and then you know, the hair would be coarser, and
Oh, there
what do
you
you
go.
got there?
Lawnmower.
Floby.
This is a
Floby.
body shaver.
Ah,
Uh,
Yeah, it's all in one.
Yeah.
how,
It's
how
just
many times would I
They
have to
look like a
change the blade
guard.
to get the job done?
Ah, there you go.
nice wide path on that.
I'm telling you, man.
it does the job.
Yeah.
It does it really well. I mean, sometimes you'll get some blades that dull really quickly for whatever reason, but most of the time I can get through 2 or 3 full shaves. I mean,
Wow.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So it's just mechanical? You're just literally pulling it, and okay. Yeah. Holy buckets! Good gravy.
yeah,
Yeah, if
Can
there's
you run me
another
some of
Planet of
that,
the
Moss?
Apes movie, man, you could totally join in that cast.
Oh yeah.
you
They're
got
like,
a little
wow, how long
bit.
did you spend in makeup today?
You got a little
I
bit
just,
on me, Moss, but
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, Moss, let me introduce you to this site called Badger and Blade.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Badger and Blade's
my
good
wife
stuff, man.
actually,
Yeah.
one of the things that held us together to be still here together for 7 years was the fact that she really adores hairy men. Um,
the
and
whole
I
thing
tell
is,
you,
if I don't shave, you can't see half the work I put into these freaking arms.
Ah.
well, yeah,
Uh-oh. Bringing out
Oh,
the gun
look out.
show. Yep, watch out.
Yeah, I'm not participating.
Oh, no. I think mine goes the
I'm-
other way. It kind of droops.
I'm so skinny. It's
you
ridiculous.
probably think this song is about you.
I am a little vain.
It's
I'm
funny.
not gonna lie. I know, but I
Yeah,
don't care.
We had a friend come over, and it was cold, so I had like a sweatshirt and pants and like the whole, heavy clothing stuff on. And she looked, wow, you look great. And my wife was like, well, he has on thick clothing. I'm like,
Thanks, honey.
Thanks.
no, I took it for what it meant, because I normally look so gaunt and like a scarecrow, basically. And so I agreed with her. I looked in the mirror. I was like, oh,
Well, let me tell you, having been on both sides of that coin, I'd rather be on the thin side.
yeah, no, I agree. Well, except that the scary part is if you get sick and you don't have weight on your
That's
body,
true,
like it's very difficult to be resilient. So that's all I want, is enough weight to that if I have to go in the hospital for a month, that I can basically survive it, because my pattern has been I lose 20 pounds every time that happens, and I can't put it back on. So
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
sort of at the end of that now. I don't think I could. I'm
So,
at 160. so-
what
I could send you
calorie
some fat transplants.
Big Macs.
what calorie range are
Doesn't
you
work.
looking at?
3,000.
That's actually pretty darn high. So,
Yeah.
well,
Doesn't help.
You believe me, you can easily go to 4,000, but not clean and not easy.
Right.
A lot of
Well, I'm
food.
not so worried about clean, honestly. At this point, it's not like when you have the
As long
outlook.
as your
So this,
cholesterol and blood pressure is solid, then go a little
yeah, they're
dirty.
fine. Yeah, my heart and cardiovascular system is all my systems are good. That's just it. Like, there's no the GI stuff is all related to the stem cell transplant that I had, and like, all the physical issues I'm dealing with are all fallout from either medication or from that transplant. Um, so, but that's the good news is that like everything else is good. My lungs are kind of iffy from the infections I've had, and that's just really common to have, like
Scar tissue.
hardening, scar tissue, hardening, that kind of stuff, striated tissue. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm good. I'm off of oxygen. I was on oxygen for a couple of years, so it's nice to not have to deal with that. But yeah, I mean, look.
Did you have that oxygen condenser, or were you using tanks?
Well, thankfully, I had the condenser. Yeah, so I was able to, and I had a home one, and I had a portable one, and yeah, it was honestly without that, I don't know like that I would have ever been able to go anywhere. The tanks only last a couple of hours. Like
Mm.
do you think about logistically just getting out of the house to go shopping, like you don't have a lot of time. By the time you get in the car, get to where you're going, you got half an hour maybe, until you gotta.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
limiting.
the
Yeah, go
battery
shopping
ones,
with
I
my
had an
wife.
extra battery, and so if I had two full batteries, it would give me about 7 hours. So
Mm.
that was pretty good.
No,
Plus, I could charge it in the car.
my
Mm.
grandpa died from COPD. My dad has COPD, but he's not to the point of needing oxygen yet. But my grandpa was really bad. He actually passed from pneumonia when, oh gosh, it's been 15 years? 15 years now? Something like that. But no, he had the condenser, and yeah, he basically lived on that thing for a good chunk of his life. And yeah,
Yeah. But it is, I mean, it's a modern miracle because without it, I mean, it's one of those things that, you know, I hated wearing that stupid cannula on my face. I mean, it would just got in my way constantly. Like, it was just like I always had something, hanging off of my face, and it was really obnoxious. But I mean, at the same time,
and
I was
carrying
able to
around that
function.
cart everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. My wife, rather than for me to carry it on my shoulders, I had this little pull behind.
Trolley, yeah.
Uh, it was just basically just had a little bin on it, and so I could put all my crap in there, and yeah, it made it so much easier to deal with it. But I not being on it,
Hang on,
and
I'm being
that's what
called.
okay, and that's one of those things where it's like little wins. Like I got off oxygen, it was like awesome. Like life is good,
Right.
no matter what else I'm dealing with. So I don't know.
Hear that. I have the pleasure of now having a gluten-free diet because I'm also dealing with some GI things. I have celiac, so
Mm,
that's fun and even more expensive.
does it help at least?
Yeah, so far I haven't had the same issues that I was having before, but I'm only about a month in, and they say it can
Mm,
take up to like 6 months before your intestinal lining starts to really heal. And
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. That
yeah,
was
that's
my
so
last
fun.
thing. It's just I had this big bloated stomach, and
Right. Yeah.
I had a scan for something else that wasn't related that caught part of the abdomen in the CT, and they saw something they didn't like, and so they called that night, and they're like, "Can you come in tomorrow?" And like, sure. What's going on? Well, there's something we saw in the scan that we didn't like, and you know we want to look. And so I went, and they did another one, and they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna keep you in the hospital." Oh
Oh,
crap! I should have seen that coming. I didn't have anything with me.
oh,
Fortunately, I had a charger for my devices. I mean, that was like the minimum I've learned to. And you'd think by now I would just pack a bag and keep it in my car, but no, you know.
yeah,
Anyway,
hospital bug out bag.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was there for a week, and just like nothing, like oh no. And it's the
Wow.
thing, like you just when you don't. I made it to 40, and I never had not one issue.
Same.
And we and then it all fell apart, and I just had so many issues and continue to. But I'm so sort of indoctrinated now, institutionalized, I guess is a better way to say it, that I there's no point in fighting it, getting mad about anything. Like, I just go along with it, and whatever happens happens, and um,
Yeah, you're right. I
it's all
think you
good.
just gotta learn to roll with the punches.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, yeah.
All these
As
modern medical and things that have, if it had been 40 years ago, 50 years ago, that, or even sooner, actually, I probably wouldn't be here. So it's all good.
Mhm.
right
Well,
on
we're
the right
glad
side
you're
of the
here,
soil.
Eric.
Yep.
Yeah. So, um, yeah, I'm not going to be here, so there's no point in me weighing in on a topic, Joe. Same with Moss.
That's why I haven't said the magic words. What's our show topic for next week?
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
asking Majid
We
and
have
Bill.
2 people watching.
Who's it going to? So it'll be you and Majid and
Bill.
I guess Bill. Yeah.
Look, if for some reason we like drop 2 more or something, maybe we'll just pre-record something. Convince you all to do a show
Actually,
next Saturday and then just air it on Sunday.
yeah.
Well, it says 2 people watching, and that includes me now. It was, I guess, got some Marcos Sajic.
I was
Good
on there
evening.
too. Yeah. It's a hot one tonight.
I am on Bodhi at the moment, so.
Are you? How's that one? Is that the 7?
Yeah, I run 7 app pack now that it's out.
Oh,
I
they did the
actually
full fat
reinstalled.
release.
Yeah, the fat release isn't that fat, and once you pull LibreOffice out of it and put in FreeOffice, you've just dropped half of the space that LibreOffice took.
Right. Yeah, I put Ubuntu on over Manjaro. I had Manjaro KDE on here as my backup system for a long time, but I got so sick of dealing. It didn't break, but the update process, I mean, just dependency conflicts and, having to build things from the AUR and all that, it was just a nightmare. So I threw Ubuntu on it, and I'll tell you what, this, what is it, 2310? Yeah, it's been really good.
There.
There we go.
So you can see all my Bodhi goodness here.
Right now,
Uh,
to your Discord.
Well, it's mostly Discord. I can shrink the Discord or move it around here.
Let's see. I'm not seeing your desktop.
That's strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just bringing up your Discord. That's all it's capturing.
Ah. Okay, well, maybe I told it to do the wrong thing. Let me stop streaming. Change windows. How about this?
Ah, there it is.
Now I don't see anything.
The blind leading the blind, Moss.
Yeah, don't even have that even wiped out my taskbar.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't see a taskbar. I see a workspace switcher and the Bodhi leaf.
Yeah, well, the workspace switcher is fun. You can move that anywhere. You can put it down on your taskbar, but it's more fun sticking it somewhere else.
Yeah, Bodhi sure is a sharp-looking distro, I'll tell you that. They do a great job with that. I can't believe how light it is with all the goodies it has.
Okay, now how do I get out of here? Because I don't have anything.
Oh, no. We've done borked it now, haven't we?
Yeah, I guess I gotta do something funky here. Let's try
All
another.
right.
Boy, none of my desktops are showing anything. Okay, let's.
You have like an alt tab or something where you can switch programs.
Um, not doing anything.
All right.
Like I say, I don't even have a taskbar. I can log out.
Okay. And there goes Moss.
He should be back in a couple of minutes, I guess.
I'd assume so. Yeah. So we might get the one-man show next week, Joe. Just you. Do it
That
all.
won't be
There you are,
very.
Moss.
That won't be very exciting. I'll probably take a nap. I'll stream my nap.
Nap time.
Napcast.
Y'all watch me snore in my chair.
Hey, it could be
Zoom
relaxing.
in on the nostrils, Joe.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, those are trimmed too.
Yeah.
Well,
Otherwise,
guys.
they're like an octopus trying to, eat the world.
Oh God, I hate plucking those. Those are the worst. Start sneezing. Yep.
It's almost fun sometimes though, plucking the ear hair that grows out from like the deep inside, and you just get a hold of it and.
Oh yeah. Get a whole bunch of little
I get a
suckers all at
trimmer
once.
for those things.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm pretty furry all over, but ears are terrible. Really bad though. I've got some hairs on my arm that are like 3 inches long. Yeah. I'm going, what did that happen? I used to have this grain of fur. It's pretty soft, but they were only like ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch long. And now I'm getting these ones that look like they've been growing for 20 years. Yeah.
I get this random hair on the side of my nose, like right there, that will just like grow down, and it'll grow down and it'll be hanging below my lip. And then we
Well, you
just
can
won't see it
incorporate it
because
with
it's
the
so
beard.
fine. And then, yeah, my wife will see it and she'll be like, nope. It's like, that was my buddy.
Well, guys,
Yeah.
my wife is hungry and I am hungry, and we
Oh,
have trash to
likewise.
take out and mail to drop off, and she wants to actually go to Gus's for some fried chicken, which we've never been to, but it keeps coming up in best fried chicken in America.
Oh
And
God, I
if
miss
we're
fried
close
chicken.
enough to drive to it,
I
we might
have
as
a
well try it.
I have a tree
I hope
lighting
it's not
ceremony to go
deadly
to
expensive.
later.
I hope it's
Fried
not
chicken's good, but I'm still a fan of the baked
Yeah, me too.
chicken thighs, and they're nice,
Oh
and
yeah.
so that's gluten free.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Go for it, man.
Well,
All right,
It's
guys.
nightly dinner: chicken and vegetables.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How long till that gets
I
boring?
Oh,
I
it's
may or
been.
may not I may or may not show up next Saturday. It doesn't make any difference because I won't have anything to contribute to the show. But
That's not true. You always have something to contribute.
when I'm not going to be on the show,
Even then,
You're being the announcement.
okay
you're
then.
always present. We always keep you with us, Moss.
Oh my God! What
All
am
right,
I
gentlemen.
doing?
All right, guys.
Have a
Good
good
Bye-bye.
day.
seeing y'all, and take care.
All right, I'm ending the stream.
All right. See you, Joe.